Hello, early gang. Because you have chosen to be hanging out in the lobby of this live stream 8 minutes before we're even supposed to start, something that is perhaps foolish of you, knowing how rarely I am here 8 minutes early. But because you chose to do this, early gang, you get the exclusive access to a most moch loaferist. He is the Mochington. And are you sick of me already, good sir? We have moched to exhaustion. We have moched to failure. Are you sure? This could be fun. We're gonna be going over some good stuff today. I don't know, I feel like he's starting to vibe. No, he's done. He's out. Fare thee well, the cat with the greatest of gauchos. He will get us again and again. But hello, early gang. I'm just gonna get into it. I'm so sorry for everybody who set their alarms strictly at 11 to get started, but it's fine. We can get into just kind of the welcoming, the come on in, let me explain what the hell you guys are getting into stuff that I try to do, so that later on when people pick up this not live, they too can just get into it. Oh, Girthy, you're here from the jump. Girthy says, before we begin, I would like to ask, when you moved out when you were 18, how did you do it? Did you have money saved up? Man, yeah, not really. I had $1,000 credit limit credit card and a waitressing job. And a strong desire to get the fuck away from my parents. No offense, Mom and Dad. Nothing you don't know, though. But I will say I was at least semi-responsible about it. One fun fact about me is that I guess this is not like a super surprising fun fact about the Dadvocate, but the first time that I moved out, I actually moved out with 3 dudes. Just one of my best friends was also looking to move out at the same time as me. We knew that we could get along well, that there was like no romantic or anything, stuff like that could get in the way. And he had these 2 buddies. I didn't know them or anything like that, but we all had a pre-roommate meeting, basically. I remember we all met up at Panera, and we basically discussed, like, our lifestyle expectations, how we expected to live, what hard rules we wanted to set for partying, having guests over, having boyfriends and girlfriends over. We all agreed to, like, these very specific rules about, like, cleaning, dietary restrictions, like, if you're gonna date somebody, like, they cannot stay the night more than 2 nights a week. Like, very specific hardline rules, and it seemed like a really good fit. So yeah, I will say we all moved out together, and it was a good fit. No complaints. All the guys like took care of their stuff. They cleaned up after themselves. They cooked. Like, another great positive experience I had with men, quite frankly. Gus, I did get your email. I did. I perused it very quickly. Now I'm trying to remember what it was about. Just like on the tip of my brain, but yes, I did see it. I did. Anyway, we're gonna get into today's stream. I'm Lauren, the Dadvocate. This is the Dadvocate stream, and we try to keep it pretty audio only friendly around here, so that if you're at work wandering around the warehouse, or getting some choring done around the house, or taking your dog for a walk, I try to make it so that you're not like super visually reliant on staring at your screen. So everything that we may go over today or review or react to, I will do my best to visually describe anything if we are watching a video here on YouTube. And if it's something that I really need you to look at, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Sorry for the cheer that I missed, but I'm trying to do my best here with staying on task. So that being said, if you do want to get my attention, super chats are the absolute best way because they actually hang out and restream for a minute. Unlike Twitch cheers, I'm so sorry to my Twitch gang, but I'm still trying to think of a good solution so that I can see your cheers without them only going away for a brief moment. So if you cheer, it may get lost. It may get lost in the sauce, as a fair warning. Today, our theme of the stream is an interesting new trend that I'm not too sure if you guys have seen this or anything like that, but it's a new trend called the mortgage prank trend. And I guess I'll just jump right into it and give you an idea. So those of you who are audio only, basically we're going to review some footage that wives are filming of their husbands, right? And this first one that I'm going to show you guys to give you an example of this prank, this new relationship test, if you will. This one's captioned, "Trying the I can't pay the mortgage prank on my farmer husband."
Baby. I went shopping this month and I don't have enough money to pay our mortgage.
Speeding up a little.
Any mortgage for this house?
Yeah, like I don't have the money, I'm
Did
short.
you go shopping for a different house?
No, I don't have the money to pay the mortgage on this house.
I'm not sure you know how to pay for the mortgage of this house.
I don't have the money. What are we going to do?
You will never have to worry about paying a mortgage. Not ever.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know why you're suddenly worried about that.
I just spent too much.
That's okay. Don't you worry, the mortgage is paid for.
Okay, so I guess like the prank here is that she's going to tell her husband that she can't pay the mortgage, which ordinarily I'm sure that any of you bill-paying humans can relate. It is a really scary thing. If you can't pay your mortgage, especially if it's like consistent, you could get evicted, you could lose everything, and you could lose all of the equity that you've invested in the home so far. Like for ordinary bill-paying people, this is nothing to joke about. You can pay that mortgage. This is scary stuff. But I guess like this is a safe joke. This is a fun, safe joke because the joke is that she's actually so well and consistently provided for. You even hear him say, like, I don't even think you know how to pay the mortgage. He says, you'll never have to worry about paying the mortgage, meaning, and I don't know how this guy can be so confident. Okay, I really try to take care of my family, but like, look, if I die tomorrow, I certainly don't have nothing set up for nobody to have nothing on auto pay after that, But this guy, maybe he's got it. Maybe he's got it made. Like, his life insurance is kick-ass. He's got so much savings. Like, literally, well and truly, this woman will never have to worry about anything in her life. I'm not mad at her, but who made up this prank? Literally just someone in the 1%? Is this like a Keeping Up with the Joneses style prank? It feels like no one's getting pranked except the 99% of us who will never be able to relate to this a day in our lives. Carl says the guy said the house was paid for. So that's another goofy thing, is like, either she knows the house is paid for and is kind of just choosing to engage with this both to flex that and or I'm really not sure, just kind of like rub it. I can't think of another alternative besides like she just wants to rub it in people's face that she has a house and she has no idea how it was even paid for. Like, what even went into it. Like, Is that something to brag about? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that any one of us would be jealous if a home was just given. We don't know any of the details. We don't know the lender. We don't know who the real estate agent was. Nothing. We don't know any of that. Yeah, that's probably really cool, I would say. Sorry, thank you, Gus. But I don't know, and there's been a lot of these. There's been a lot of these. Here's another one. Playing the I can't pay the mortgage this month prank on my husband, who, by the way, I don't know what's going on here. He's about to have the time of his life, though. The counter is literally loaded with candy. But anyway.
I have something to tell you.
Okay, why are you recording?
Because it's important, and don't be upset, okay? I cannot make the mortgage this month. I can't pay it.
You don't pay the mortgage.
I'm just letting you know. I can't pay it this month.
You don't pay it any month. I'm confused. What do you...
Here's the thing, too, is either these two people are working together to stage this prank. Like, the both of them together were like, you know what we should do? We should just loudly and boldly remind everybody how comfortable we are. Like, let's do this together. I think that would really make me as a man look and feel good if everyone knew that I was doing that. Like, either they're doing this together, which is really cringe. I'm sorry. That's very cringe, especially in this day and age where the 1%ers are held to a higher scrutiny. I'll just say that ever so gently while people are calling this Luigi fella shooter bay. I don't know if that's the game the rich really want to be playing right now, but it's also like, if that's not the case, where you two are working together to just absolutely, like, flex out this, like, TradCon settlement that you've got going on here, then the other side of the coin is that you're kind of trolling this dude. Like, you're kind of trolling him. Like, if I was paying 100% of all of the bills and my partner knew that, and they came up to me saying some shit of like, I won't be able to do the bills, I would just be like, and you've got the phone in my face, like, why are you fucking with me right now? Like, what is this? Like, why? Like, I would just, and if, I don't know. This could be staged, but it also looks like he could be annoyed with this, as I feel like I would be a little bit. Like, could you imagine, and we'll get into whether or not this entire thing survives the gender swap test, but could you imagine if, like, I as a woman, like, pretty much did, like, all of the chores. Like, I did all of the laundry, I did all of the dishes. That was, like, just kind of the arrangement that we had. And my husband comes up to me and goes, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I won't be able to do the laundry. If I knew this man never did the laundry, I would be so instantly aggro. I would be so annoyed. I'm like, why? I would be like, why are you effing with me right now? Because that's all you're doing, is you are toying with me and what I'm providing for the family. What is the joke?
I'm just letting you know I can't pay it this month.
That's not a part of your responsibilities. You take care of the kids. I pay the mortgage.
I know.
You bend over the counter.
My God!
Oops. See, you know what? This is where it backfires a little bit. You try to flex on the fact that you don't have to make a house payment and you don't even know how, but then your husband outs you as being basically a high-end escort. And that's kind of an accidental consequence of this mortgage trend by proxy, is like, you're trying to brag about the fact that you literally have no idea how a bill is paid. And if you want to see that as a brag, if that's like your dream life, we have different opinions then. I think that self-sufficiency and the ability to know what's going on in your life is pretty important. But these folks clearly, they think that this is great. And I'll show you one more example of the shit these people are posting. And just so you can also see, like, it's popping off. The ladies love this. There's so many saves. I can only imagine how many husbands who are not paying the full amount of the mortgage these have been sent to. Okay, I can only imagine how many husbands who do like a 50-50 or even a, God forbid, like 60-40 or something split have passive aggressively received this in their inbox. I'm gonna speed it up a little
I have
bit.
to talk to you.
What's up?
I have to tell you something. Please don't be mad at me.
Okay.
I can't pay the mortgage this month.
The what?
The mortgage. I can't pay the mortgage this month.
You can't pay the mortgage this month.
No, I can't pay the mortgage this
What
month.
is that thing right there?
I bought a dancing Santa Claus. Do you like him?
That's cool.
He's the reason we can't afford our mortgage this month.
Because you bought a Santa Claus.
This one's the
Yeah,
best one
anyways,
yet,
I
though.
can't pay the mortgage this month.
Can't pay the mortgage. Do you know who our mortgage provider? You
No, I don't. That doesn't matter. I can't pay the mortgage this month.
can't pay the mortgage this month. Okay. You've never. I don't think you ever paid the mortgage. It's been 4 months.
I pay the mortgage
since
every
you've been
month.
here. You pay the what?
I can't pay the mortgage this
I don't know what
month.
you're doing. I mean, okay, I'll get it this month, okay? And then you can, and then 30 years from now you can get it then. Is that what you want me to do? I don't know. I don't get it. Is this like a TikTok? What are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like either they're in on it or they don't understand the joke. Like if they're in on it, they're both gross, they're both yucky, but it's like I would really hope that like a lot of these guys would look back and maybe think to themselves like, man, did I just kind of do everything right the way that I was supposed to? Get a high enough paying job to where I can afford a mortgage for my family on my own, taking on all the risks, doing it myself so that my wife doesn't have something to even worry about. And she's going to use my hard work to flex on the rest of the 50% of the population that cannot rely on a single income. I don't exactly know what it's like to be a man or even to be the sole financial provider of a family. But I've got to imagine that if I found out that my partner was using any amount of hard work that I had invested as like a classist flex, as brownie points to get digital cookies on TikTok, I'm sorry, that's the only way that I'm getting it, because otherwise I don't get what the joke is. The joke is that you're financially incompetent. The joke is that you're not involved in the fiscal responsibilities of your domestic home. Can somebody in the chat explain the joke? You know what though, we're getting some other opinions. Someone says, if my wife used my hard work like this, I would love it. And that's what I'm thinking, that the guys who either are involved in the entire filming of it or just don't care that their girl posted it have got to be thinking, is they're like, yeah, I love that you're posting me online in a way that makes me look like the fucking man. Like in a way that makes it look like you don't have to worry about anything, you know? I bet everyone at the country club would find that joke hilarious. And I mean, like, you don't have to be a member of a country club to be able to afford a mortgage necessarily, especially if you're the only one paying for the mortgage. Very unlikely you've got much extra disposable income for a country club here. But I don't know. There's just something a little off. Someone else says, I would be pissed at the disclosure of financial privacy to the world. No, I will say it's vague enough. Dr. Gamester says, you got it already. The joke is you don't pay the mortgage anyway. That's my job. And yeah, for the guys that have that, they like being able to flex affording a mortgage on their own. Yeah, I mean, it probably is, I guess, something, it's definitely something to flex in the woman world, okay? But I will say, as a direct consequence, like I mentioned earlier with the amount of saves and shares, what are the odds that a bunch of dudes just got in trouble for this trend? Because I've looked at the statistics, and it's really far, not super far, not as far as you'd think, but very much not the majority of homes where there is one singular income provider, or even the man paying for like the grand majority anymore. Men definitely still pay more bills on average than women when you actually look at the numbers, but I think it's very average and very normal for a family to kind of rely on dual income. Like, if I was a man in this day and age and I was interested in a woman and she told me, like, just so you know, I'm not going to work, I'm only going to be a stay-at-home wife and mother, like, I wouldn't want to date her, because I would personally want to date someone who, you know, at least has some kind of viable vision for their future, because you can't be a stay-at-home mom forever. And like, as a man, I can't imagine that many men need a stay-at-home wife, right? Like, if you're gonna have any luxuries in your life, you know, if I'm paying for your entire life just to have some chores done and like meals cooked, like, I don't know, man, it better be really fucking good. That's just me. Again, maybe I wouldn't be the most alpha man for that reason, but I just, going into 2025, I don't know if I would ever be able to like wholly promise a woman I can fund her entire lifestyle. It would just, but again, some guys are like, oh, it's fine, I pay 100% of the mortgage, I hope my wife makes this video. But I gotta show you some of the responses to this. What kind of fuckery is this? This says, this I can't pay the mortgage trend has just made me think I may be the only person who shares a bank account with her husband. So just as I anticipated would happen, this is making the women very upset at the realization that they are paying bills in a world where other women's husbands are not paying bills. And are paying bills. I said that completely wrong. They're paying bills in a world where some women are paying 0 bills. And that's not fair. Big Angie, don't like it. And a little bit same. I mean, like, I'm sure there are men watching this who are like, I wish someone would come along and pay my mortgage for me. You know, we got some more like this one.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Telling my husband I can't pay the mortgage this month trend is actually so baffling and eye-opening to me. Like, babes, am I the only girl in America contributing to household bills? Like, no, we're in the majority. We're just being gaslit by TikTok trends into thinking that, like, we're the lowest of the low. We're the bottom of the barrel. We're the ugliest, most degenerate, biggest losers of the woman world if we pay approximately half of the lifestyle that we ourselves choose to live. And, like, no, I beg you to understand that, like, this is a fun, silly trend for comfortable people to do, to soft flex on us, and it hurts, but it's okay. We're allowed to be happy for them, even if a small part of us wants to punch them in the face. You know what I mean? Like, it's... And is it that deep, though? Is it that deep on either side? Like, whose responsibility is it that now half of American women are completely spiraling, feeling like they have completely chosen the wrong man, that their relationship is a failure, a lie, that they're failing in womanhood because they know who their mortgage provider is. It's, this trend is single-handedly going to tear the average couple apart. Now, I think this is the one that I saw where a woman actually had a decent take on it.
To those of y'all doing the I can't pay my mortgage prank on your husbands, spouses, whatever, what does your spouse do for work? Because in my house, we need both these incomes, baby. Pay that mortgage. So I'm just trying to figure out what y'all's husbands do for work. My husband does HVAC, but he ain't making enough to take over me and 3 kids and everything else we got going on. Good for y'all, though.
Realist response so far, though. For real. And that's the thing, too, is like, HVAC is a really good career. Like most guys, I feel like I've heard of HVAC starting at like $40K, and then you get at it after for a few years, $50K. I feel like HVAC is a really decent income too, and like, but it's true. You can have a good job. You can work hard as hell, coming home with the blisters, the sweat, aching back. That doesn't mean you're less of a man if you can't pay an entire mortgage for a whole family with multiple bathrooms, multiple bedrooms. Like, that doesn't mean that you're a failure, and good on her for like actually recognizing it. What's crazy though is I can tell you that the other ladies did not like her saying that. You want to know why? Comments turned off. She fucking got lit up like a Christmas tree in the comments for daring to say that she also contributes to bills. You know what I mean? Like, these women, it's crazy. If you are a woman in this world who dares say things like, hey, I like men, and if anything happened to my man, like he got hurt or he lost his job, I could provide for us, like, you'll be called the most desperate pick-me-sha of all time by the female community. Like, the instant hatred when you exist as a woman who does not hate and use men, it's wild. It really is so wild. Coop DeJarnik says, I am an HVAC technician, and after 10 years of the trade, I pull 6 figures. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. This man's working HVAC, and they're still like, please don't quit your job, wifey. Like, for real. And I mean, like, there's a lot of these cities where even 6 figures is barely enough to comfortably live. We're talking Seattle. 6 figures, you're basically in poverty, dude. It's wild. And like, I think this is kind of why I'm not appreciating this trend, is because it's just, I get the desire to flex, the desire to brag, like the desire to brag about your situation. I think any one of us, if we were in the situation of being able to completely pay for a mortgage for anybody besides just ourselves, like people brag about buying their mom's houses all the time. It's like, for a lot of men, one of the greatest gifts that they can give. But in the context of this, in the way of like, well, of course a man pays the mortgage, it just feels very out of touch. And it's like, here we are existing in this world of like, we are feminists and we are independent and we don't need men and 4B, but actually we love the patriarchal standard of men paying for us to exist. That can stay. No, we'll go to the moon, we'll earn our own incomes, we'll take over the entire educational world by attaining over 60% of all graduate certifications and diplomas in America. We'll do all of that, but that doesn't mean we'll pay the bills. No, we want to keep that patriarchal, archaic remnant, that, you know, the one that exists because we used to literally be bought and sold as property. We want to keep that. That one's convenient. Like, that's the part where the trend is kind of like, is it that cute? Also, quick TLDR on what is 4B. 4B is a movement that originated in Korea, an area that South Korea, I want to say, that is a lot more misogynistic than our culture is, even. Pay our mortgage harder, daddy. That's so funny, Girthy. But the 4Bs, in Korea, the words actually start with B, but as a translation, it's basically the 4Bs translate to no dating men, no having sex with men, no marrying men, and no having children with men. And the idea is that this would kind of combat the potent misogyny that exists within that culture and the lack of equality between the sexes. And in South Korea, it's interesting because a lot of Koreans are even saying it's not actually effective. There is a decline in the population, though, so some argue that it is, but not many people attribute the decline in population directly to 4B. Do I think that it could ever work in America? No. I don't think that it ever could. Because here's the thing. If women wanted to, they would. Yeah, they weren't ready to get hit with the reverse Uno there, but women can't stop fucking men. Women, you think they're going to stop dating men? You think they're going to stop getting married to men? You think they're going to stop having babies with men? No. If they wanted to, they would have ages ago. They would have done it when Roe v. Wade was first abolished and they first started claiming they would do 4B. But are they? No. They're not. They are not. Okay? They don't have what it takes. They can't hang. Okay? And it doesn't work anyway. We would just end up accidentally oppressing ourselves. Like, really think about this. Like, the women who actually want to date men, have long-lasting, fulfilling relationships with men, and have kids would only be ruining their own dreams for an outcome they likely wouldn't really see within their own lifetimes. And for women who don't want to date men or have kids or get married, you weren't going to do it anyway, so don't use the decisions that you were already going to make to act like it's some noble sacrifice. The whole thing is just a flawed system. But like, if you want a 4B it up. No one's stopping you. If someone wants to be single, go for it. You're allowed to be single. No one's stopping you. I'm not mad about it. You have your freedoms. Enjoy. It's giving I'm mad at you, so I'm giving everyone the silent treatment. It's very much like, can you scoot over a little bit? Fine, I'll just sleep on the floor. So, reeling it back, getting off the 4B bandwagon, I'm going to show you guys a couple other takes on this whole mortgage trend, because while there's a lot of women who are, now picking fights with their husband for not taking over 100% of the bills and feeling upset and wallowing in their own bill-paying self-pity because, God forbid, we be independent, strong boss babes, but also take care of our own lifestyles, there are also women who are pointing to this trend as proof that women, we don't need to tolerate paying 50-50 anymore. This trend right here is all the proof that we need that it's time to rise above and start actually demanding this out of men. I'll let her yap.
There has never been a better antidote against 50-50 relationships than this latest I can't pay the mortgage or I can't pay the rent trend that women are doing with their husband.
I'm sorry, I will let her speak, but imagine you literally throw away an entire relationship with a man because you've been splitting the bills after seeing a few popular TikToks, only to go back out in the dating world and realize, like, almost everyone is splitting bills. And it's so very difficult to, like, find someone who's gonna just do that. Not impossible. Not impossible. If that's your ultimate dream, is to never pay a mortgage, it'll happen. You can do it. Okay?
A lot of women have never quite seen it spelled out like that. Here it is. I often don't love the married couple, the couples trends that, happen over here on TikTok. But this one is chef's kiss. Because all you need to do is just watch one of those with a 50-50 couple to see all the difference that you need to see. And to understand that men who view you as a romantically viable partner treat you so much differently than men who view you as a host.
This is so dangerous. This is so dangerous and scary. 46,000 likes, 7,000 saves, almost 2,000 shares. And we're once again getting the narrative delivered to myself and my people that if a man doesn't pay 100% for you, he doesn't love you. This is a narrative that is being honest to God, ham-fisted down women's throats on the regular, as we are being told that if a man asks you to pay 50-50, he hates you. I mean, I can think of a few other fair, valid, economic-based reasons that a couple may reasonably choose to share the expenses that they both contribute to. But I'm gonna let her go on a bit here. Yeah, if you don't pay 100% of her bills, you're just a parasite, honestly.
For their parasitic nature, and the men who really don't give a single flying fuck about you. You'll also notice, if you have good pattern recognition like me, that the men who are confused by that trend or question or whatever look groomed, moisturized, head full of hair, seem to actually be kind and like nice to their wife, like the vibes are really good. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen a lot of the 50-50 videos, but the ones I have seen are atrocious. Like the man has no feelings for you, babe. If anything, he feels strongly about you in the wrong direction. These men resent y'all.
This is what I'm saying. Like, they honestly believe that if a man is not paying all of the bills, he's doing so out of resentment. It's not that he can't, it's that he's withholding it because he hates you. That's all men really do, is men just make money. They just get it by existing as men. It just falls down from the sky and into their wallets. They just wake up with handfuls of cash, and then they hide their handfuls of cash, and they go out into the world and they pick women that they just hate. They look at them and they're like, what an ugly piece of trash, and then they convince them to date them even though they just hate every single moment of it. And then they trick these women into thinking that they don't have these secret massive hoards of wealth just to get them. You know how guys just be casually doing that? Just hate dating? Just spite withholding their money? Guys just love doing that? It has nothing to do with the fact that we have an insane disparity of wealth in our country, and that so many men fight poverty on a daily basis. It has nothing to do with the fact that the average dude that I talk to in my life still feels like a Magikarp whose only move is splash, and they've been splashing and splashing around for damn near 19 levels, and it feels like they're never ever going to evolve into Gyarados. It has nothing to do with that. You guys have all the money and means, you just don't want to. You're just mean, and you just hate women, and that's why you don't give them your money. Men who really love women give them their money. You hear that? The Andrew Tates of the world. That's who really loves women. Like, can we, ladies, there are so many reasons that I can think of off just the dome, just the dome right now. Just so many reasons that I can think of right now that maybe there's a good few reasons that we shouldn't be conflating. God, I cannot talk today. Just, there might be one or two reasons that maybe we should not be conflating men buying us things and love. Going back to the whole, like, world's oldest trade, and, like, maybe that's just glamorized prostitution at a certain point. Like, there's so many different ways of me saying that, like, women, if you end up in your life paying roughly approximately half of the lifestyle that you yourself choose to live, no one is oppressing you. You are not being abused. It's not because anybody hates you that you have to pay bills for the lifestyle that you yourself choose to live, right? It's if you choose to take 40-minute long showers 2 times a day, and maybe you end up with a water bill because of that, it has nothing to do with misogyny, I promise you. We really got to explain this, man. All right. Has the 50-50 spell been broken?
These 50-50 men are literally using y'all so that they don't have to work hard in life. That's all it is. Because how are you going to be like, oh, well, I don't know what we're going to do then? You're telling me you're A, a man, B, you're splitting bills 50-50, C, you're not expected by society to spend any money on beauty ritual type things.
Didn't this lady just not 2 minutes ago be like, and all the men who are paying for their wives, they're well groomed. They have a full head of hair. Ma'am, you are describing things that cost money. Am I going to sit back and pretend that men end up spending as much money on beauty products as women? No, of course not. A man's haircut is like $40 max, whereas like women's average is like $200 to get their hair done at a salon. Minimum. Some of these women be spending the thousands, you know what I mean? But like, also, how are we really going to be still using, oh, you can tell he's a good man because he has a full head of hair? 80% of men experience some type of balding. And the way that you can tell that they're a good man is not by the hair. I can't believe she's so confidently trying to assert what being smart and discerning is or not, while being like, you can trust men based on their hair. GT Woods, thank you for the dono, says she wants full authority and no responsibility. Yes.
You're probably getting paid more at work. You're probably contributing less towards the household. If y'all are going 50-50 on other things like groceries, you're probably eating more of those and not paying for it. So you literally should have all the money in the world to throw at your girlfriend whenever you want to. So ladies, let this be a lesson.
Men, why don't you just have all of the money in the world? You probably have everything going for you. Based on what? I don't know. Definitely not the homeless population numbers that shows that men are chronically way more homeless than women. Definitely probably not based on that at all. What? Like, now I will address some things that she has correct. Some things that are accurate. Wage gap, I don't know about that. I really don't know. If there is a wage gap at this point, it's got to be like a 0.01% difference in wages. You know what I mean? It's really not as prolific. In fact, I've been recently reading studies that indicate that about 47% of wives earn as much or more than their husbands. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of women who make more than their husbands now. It's not that uncommon. We're far from the 50s these days. Housework, I will say this, men. I've said this before. I'll say it again. This is a hill that I will die on. If you ask your partner to contribute 50-50 to your shared expenses, but are not doing your share of the housework, you're a gold digger. I said what I said. If you expect a woman to pay 50% of the bills, but then do most of the housework, boop, you're a gold digger. I said what I said. That part is true, okay? If she is doing most of the housework, boy, it's time to increase your load to 60-40, maybe 70-30. I'm so serious. I'm so serious, okay? I will admit, you can be a gold digger if you're making this lady do all the housework, okay? That is a thing. However, this concept that splitting bills, especially if you have similar incomes, means he hates you. Smug Scotty says, my wife and I are quote-unquote 50-50. We're actually one together because we have a shared vision and goals for our future. Yeah, honestly, I'm more of like the 100-100 camp. Like the way that me and my husband do it is like we pretty much just have one bank account at this point. We tried doing the whole like one bank account for bills, and then we have separate bank accounts so that we can still like do surprises. But like now we just withdraw cash for surprises and like just have one big dumping ground, you know what I mean? Like the 100-100 is truly the way to go, is just like everybody is contributing as much as they possibly can. And some days that does end up looking like 70-30. Some days ends up looking like 80-20. You know what I mean? Ideally, you just end up kind of splitting that.
Lesson that these men don't love you. Because where's all the money going? What are you possibly spending it on? Either he is hoarding it, like, again, at your expense, because if you are in a bind, he's not going to help you out. 2, he's just spending it indiscriminately, maybe on himself, maybe on somebody else.
This is crazy. She is under this illusion that, like, all men are these gold hoarding dragons, that, like, there are no men in poverty. Every man actually has like stockpiles of wealth and crypto and multiple homes that they're just hiding from the women, that they're just keeping to themselves, and that, you know, if you are paying 50-50, it means he's definitely cheating on you. He's definitely spending the money on other women. Isn't that what she just implied? Like, well, where's the money going? Where's it? On the bills. On the bills, lady. Honestly, even paying half the bills is like barely anything left over for somebody. Dude, she thinks that, like, and now here's the thing. I have heard of these situations where the man makes like 10 times as much as the woman and still wants her to pay 50-50 and still wants her to do all of the housework, and he just gets to live his like dream life and she's struggling. I've heard of this. And I've heard the flip side too. I've heard of women who are making multiple 6 figures and the man is barely earning anything, and she's like, well, it's your job to pay for bills. You know what I mean? I've heard of both, but are either of these situations even remotely like a fair blanket brush to paint on either of the genders? No, I don't think this is common at all.
What even are the other options? Like, if you're a woman going 50-50, that's actually hard. Because not only are you paying 50% of the rent, 50% of the bills, you're also going to work.
She's so close to getting it. She's so close to getting it. She's like, girly, trust me, I get it. Paying bills is really hard. Like, you have to actually go into work and labor for several long hours. Like, it's so hard. That's why men should do all of it.
You're expected to put on makeup every day for work. You're expected to do your hair every day for work. You're expected to have like a full wardrobe as a woman.
I really like to push back on these narratives. This is a really common one in the dating world, is like, oh, well, the reason that women should have to pay less in bills and the reason that women shouldn't have to pay for dates is because we have to pay for makeup. We have to pay to get this stuff done. We have to like do all this and this and this for beauty. And like, y'all, I have debunked this so many times. Like, and I should probably just keep doing it. Like, every time I see these videos of women proving, what did I even throw at myself here? Proving how much it costs to be a woman. It's like, I will go step by step everything with you guys. Now, okay, the one thing I will say, my hair, I do be spending money on, but like one of my friends does my hair, so I get kind of a discount, but I will say I do be spending money on my hair. But everything else, eyebrows, these girls will be like, oh, well, it costs me $40 a month to get my eyebrows done. Okay, again, I'm not going to claim to be like the pinnacle of beauty. I'm not going to tell you guys like this is like what an ideally hot woman looks like, but I'm happy with myself. I feel pretty. My husband's obsessed with me and has been for 10 years. I still get compliments when I go out and about. I feel like I'm a decent, like, I feel like I'm doing okay, right? So, like, that being said, eyebrows, I bought these, like, $4 pens on Amazon, and I kind of fill them in a little. Women will tell you, oh, I have to spend $40 to $80 either a month or, like, every 2 to 3 weeks to get my eyelashes done. I bought a maybe $10 pack of, like, 50 eyelashes that I just kind of, like, stick on. And that's how I did that. And these last me months and months and months. Let's see. Makeup. I buy the cheap shit. Foundation I spend like $8 on. That'll last me a few months. Powder, roughly the same. I don't think I spend much more than $20 per makeup thing. But they'll tell you need to get Botox. Y'all, I know that I have like a few wrinkles going on here. I know that if you get up real close, you can see the crow's feet. But I don't do Botox. I'm 32. It's fine. You don't need it. Honestly, I would love to see men like do a test to see if they can even tell like women who have Botox or not. I bet you none of them could really tell the difference, actually. It's like all this stuff, it's really not necessary. My nails, I got some like cute little Christmas themed ones. They're like $4 nail wraps. You just kind of stick them on. I'm not paying $100 a month to get my nails done. Like, and I have lived this lifestyle where I'm not injecting anything into my face. I'm not getting like my eyebrows or eyelashes professionally done. No lasers. None of that. I've been doing this for years, and before becoming a YouTuber, which would consider myself fairly successful at, I had a 5-year-long career at the same company, and I would show up without makeup. I would show up without my hair perfectly done. Like, I don't know, man. It seems like kind of a myth to me that these are allegedly necessary for having a job and allegedly necessary for landing a man who's good to you. And I don't know, maybe we need to put TJ in the trash because he doesn't pay 100% of the mortgage, I guess. You know what's crazy though? Is honestly, even though my husband is and has always been a struggling artist who is a very good person, but is not capitalist tycoon by any means. Like, even with us kind of needing dual income to be comfortable, dude, if I called him up and was like, TJ, I overspent, I f***ed things up, I won't be able to contribute to our mortgage, he would make it work. Like, bro would probably do something devastating like sell his PS5. Like, honestly, he would still make it happen. It's just like this idea that like just because a man doesn't necessarily have the means to completely remove every financial worry in your life doesn't mean he doesn't love you, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna finally finish this video here.
Whereas men, if they wear the same pair of pants and the same shirt to work every day, nobody says anything. That's not the case for you as a woman. You're expected to dye your gray hairs. You're expected to smell good, all this stuff, shave your legs, shave your armpits. Like, yeah, it would make sense, actually. You're also...
I promise you, if I never shaved anywhere, if I was looking raw like Chewbacca every single day for the entire 5 years that I worked for my former company, absolutely my job would not be in any type of jeopardy. Maybe if you're talking about being a cam model or a model or something where you're actually using your body for physical beauty purposes, but like, lady, what do you mean you can't wear the same shirt and pants to work every day as a woman? Like, what do you think every Bob Evans waitress is doing? They have to wear the same polo and khakis. What do you think the women who work at Target and Best Buy are doing? Do you think they're getting fired because they wore the same blue or red polo? No, they're not. Like, lady, you think we're in the 50s still. We are so far out of there. And like, men have to smell good too. Do you think that like, if a man consistently shows up to the job site smelling like pure ass, that the fellas aren't gonna say something? Like, it's okay to just say you've never once tried to understand the male experience. It's okay to just say that.
Expected, like, during the holiday season to buy most of the presents. In fact, you probably know your boyfriend has no plan to buy you anything, but you're still...
Holy shit, this is the craziest amount of projection. Like, tell me you've been hurt so badly before. Like, what is this whole, you probably know your boyfriend isn't gonna buy you anything? What? That's not like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Like, now we've gone like full circle. This is crazy how she's gone from basically admitting that she has never once dated a man who has treated her with any decency to now basically self-reporting that this entire video is her way of basically trying to threaten men into paying bills. And I've gone over that whole phenomenon as well. How there is this new trend of women trying to make these videos of like, guys, just so you know, if you don't do this, none of us are going to want to date you. These like empty threats of like, just FYI, guys, this is what you have to do because none of us are going to tolerate it. And it's like, she really thinks that making this whole 4-minute video or whatever is going to single-handedly convince all men to pay for every mortgage forever.
Still gonna buy him something. It's like there's literally no excuse as to why a man shouldn't have some money left over after paying bills 50-50.
You can't think of a single solitary reason that a man wouldn't have money left over. You know, most Americans are in debt, right? Like this lady knows that most Americans are in debt in the 6-figure range, right? Like, what? Is she a Nepo baby? I'm guessing she's a Nepo baby.
And it actually makes perfect sense to me why a woman wouldn't, right? Because again, if you're paying 50-50 for groceries, but your man is like inhaling all of the food and all of the snacks so that you're buying groceries more often than you would just for yourself, he's saving money actually at your expense. I feel like this trend makes this like so clear in a way that we just couldn't have expected. I just love it. Stay safe out there, and may a love like that never find you.
There's no ring on that finger. Let's see what the ladies are saying here. Oh, here, let me read Jack's. Don't know. Our eldest regularly comes up to me, sniffs, says, "You smell good." I must be doing something right. Or asks me about beardy weirdy. That sounds like a story. Yeah, smelling good, important for every gender. But you know, the girlies loved this video. They did not decide to go with the critical analysis lens of like, Man, are we as women actually making ourselves miserable by holding us to the same archaic patriarchal standards that we've tried to escape from? No, we're not going to go down that lane. We're going to go down the lane of like, we agree men bad. My friend had a 50-50 marriage. She had to work 2 jobs to make her half of the bills. Her hubs was able to go golfing and boys' vacays. She also made his lunches, cleaned the house. They are divorced. I mean, that's definitely a cautionary tale. That sounds crazy. That, again, I know that this does happen, that some people just are terrible at actually negotiating finances and how to handle things and split things appropriately. Definitely sounds like she got freaking bamboozled on this one, for sure. Groomed, moisturized, head full of hair and nice vibes is facts. You know, stuff that doesn't cost any money whatsoever. 50-50 is for roommates. If your person is not all in and building with you, then you're wasting your time. I agree. 50-50 is for roommates, and that's why wives should pay the bills and men should stay home and do the child care and take care of the house. What? Why is everyone mad at me? Been married for 25 years. Hubby pays for everything. I work and use my money how I want. Never once has he ever asked me about my money. If anything, he'll ask if I have enough. Don't settle for less, ladies. And she just got a bunch of dudes in trouble. I mean, good for you. Obsessed, this is goals. If you have any debt, your money is already spoken for. Your number one priority should always be to clear your debt ASAP, both sexes. Yeah, Flamethrower, you know me. I'm definitely a big financial audit gal. I'm a big finances, our life nerd. Then Simmerine, I noticed your super chat. Probably going to pop up here in a second. There it is. Her. No one will date you unless you pay me. Don't presume to speak for me, bench. I grade my husband's farts. I don't know if my husband's ever scored lower than a B, to be honest. There'd be no point in grading. They're all pretty S tier, quite frankly. The only thing to grade is whether him or Miles was more successful that day. Yeah, these comment sections, men, you better watch out, because your girls are out here reading these comment sections and ruining their lives, dude. Like, if I wasn't a more healed and in touch with the world woman, this would be devastating me. I haven't paid for anything in 30 years, and I haven't worked in 15. Happily married 30 years. I also noticed the 50-50 men are much less attractive. Y'all, this is not true. This is not... They're really trying, though. They're trying to hit any way that they can, in a way that this isn't even fucking true. There is no study, there is no evidence that men who earn more money or pay more bills are inherently more conventionally attractive. There is literally nothing that would suggest that. Now, here's what's really crazy is we've got these women out here bragging about, like, my man pays for everything. I've been completely removed from the career field for decades. If I ever tried to or needed to return to the job market for any reason, I would be colossally fucked. That's the brag, right? And yet these are the same women who are like, being a trad wife is bad because it's dangerous to let men completely provide for you. And if you're going to get on the internet and brag about being a trad wife, I'm going to yell at you and bully you. Is it like, didn't we just get over that last hill? Didn't we just go through this whole, like, well, women, it's actually so dangerous to pursue the tradcon life because when they divorce you and leave you for a woman 40 years younger than you, you know, you're going to be screwed. Like, but now but now you're a failure as a woman if you tolerate anything less than that. The math is not mathing here. Like, the feminism is not really remaining intellectually consistent here. I'm not, I don't know about that. But what do you guys think about this whole 50-50 trend? Oh yeah, there's one more thing we didn't cover about this. There's one more version of this that we have not yet looked at. And I can't believe I almost forgot to bring this up, but we had asked, does the mortgage trend survive the gender swap test? We've seen what happens when a woman approaches her husband and says, "Babe, I don't think I can pay the mortgage." It's a cute, funny thing because women are dainty, delicate creatures who apparently can't provide for themselves whatsoever when it comes to a bill setting. And it's just, obviously you don't have to worry about that. The man will handle it, you silly goose. But what do you think would happen if it was the other way around, I'm curious. I have one slight look into this. When a woman who pays the bills regularly now can't. I haven't dared see what would happen if a man told his wife he can't pay the bills, but you know what's actually really funny before we even watch this is even though you guys know I'm opposed to relationship tests or games or anything like that, there was one relationship test that guys were suggesting, which is if you really want to test the structure, the foundation of your marriage, come home and tell your wife that you lost your job and then just take a few days off of work and see how differently she treats you. Again, not usually for tests, but if she failed that, it would be quite telling. Isn't it so funny when people take the time out of their day to make an entire YouTube account and then consistently type in the chat over and over again, "Trump is your daddy," as if I can't just block them from my chat in one quick click and just make all of their chats completely useless. You know what I mean? Anyway. That's kind of gay, bro. You can find Trump Rule 34 out there, bud. You don't have to hang out here. You can just go crank it to your president anytime. I'm not stopping you. Anyway, let's watch this.
Hey babe, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
I can't pay the rent this month.
Why not?
I just don't have the money for it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't have the money. I think with all the Christmas shopping and everything, I didn't stick to our budget, I guess.
Oh my God. You just made the budget last week, though.
I know, and I don't have the money for it. I don't know what to do.
Can you just do overtime or something on the weekends?
You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to go back to work.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Are you serious? You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
After what happened, they said I couldn't come back, so it's not like I can just go back and start doing hours again. It's not that big of a deal. Just grab some extra shifts on the weekends.
Oh my. Hey babe, I have some.
So, they didn't like that. They did not like that at all. Oh man, what do the comments say? He's living the soft life. The way he pushes his glasses up and rubs his nose with his limp-ass baby wrist is sending me to outer space. You don't have a husband, you have a wife. And see, that's just rude to wives, honestly. Real question, how are you sexually attracted to him? The first red flag is the way he holds his burger. Imagine having a husband that, 1, can't pay the rent, and 2, acts like this. If you're a true breadwinner, you just work the overtime and make ends meet without all the extra conversation. You know what, though? Austin makes a very good point. If a man declared himself the breadwinner, like, wouldn't he immediately get lit up by women and other men if he was like, I'm the breadwinner, but, like, I'm not gonna work overtime to pay the bills? Like, wouldn't women immediately be like, then you're not the breadwinner? That is kind of funny. Women, please stop marrying weak and unproductive men. I bet you she bought him that sandwich too. So many reasons to hate this guy, but tops for me is the way he won't look away from his phone as she is speaking. I will say that is a red flag almost any time, is when you're like trying to talk to somebody, but they like won't stop scrolling. Oh man. Yeah, I will say, I typically oppose partner shaming, right? And I don't know if this was fully intended to be partner shaming, but I don't know if the relationship can really recover here. Like, why are you even in this relationship? You don't respect this man at all. I don't know if you should. I don't necessarily know if you should, because I don't know why he's not working. All he said was, after what happened, they won't let me back, as if there's only one job he can work in the world, and like once he lost that one job, it's impossible to apply for another job. But it is kind of funny. It's like, if a woman responded this way, no one would be shocked at all. They would be like, well, yeah, she doesn't want to go back to work. Why can't you pay it? You said you're the breadwinner. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. So, my closing thoughts on this whole mortgage trend is, at best, it's a mostly harmless way for comfortable people to brag about how comfortable they are and happy in their relationships they are. And at worst, it's setting a dangerous new standard for what people think their relationship has to look like in order to be able to explain to people that their spouse doesn't hate them. And looking back at it, it's just kind of, to me, I would say that the worst parts of this trend outweigh the best parts. There are ways to try to hold people to a higher standard of involvement, commitment, providership, without necessarily putting down the majority of people who can't afford this kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean? So overall, I would rate this trend a big, I don't like it. Overall, not good for society or relationships. Is just kind of reinforcing a lot of sprinkle dating culture that's become really icky and is trying to convince women that proper relationships kind of just mimic prostitution. Not the exact type of way I want to be raising my daughter, but you know, those are just my thoughts. I am curious to hear yours. Samantha, thank you for the 5 cents. He said, after what happened, I'm not welcome back. What the hell happened? That's exactly what I'm saying, dude. But this is another interesting thing too, is it's interesting how when a woman is the breadwinner of a house, she has to explain why. Doesn't she? there has to be a damn good reason for it. Like, this man is working from home or going to school and then eventually he'll make more. Or he decided to be the stay-at-home father. You know what I mean? But if a woman is a breadwinner simply because the man just doesn't earn as much as her, she has to explain that. Does a man ever have to explain why he's the breadwinner? Has there ever been a time that, like, a man's been like, yeah, you know, I pay the bills and, you know, whatever she ends up earning from her job, she gets to keep. No one's ever like, why, though? Why isn't she paying her way? Like, don't you know your worth? You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever really see that happen. So, oh my god, Barbecue for the Win is here. Hi, unrelated. You know how we actually talk about how dangerous women can be here? Well, another young girl, 14, recently got brutally murdered by 2 girls in Sweden. Second time within like a year. Jesus, is this going to be like another one of those Slender Man things? Funny thing is, they recorded themselves as they thought they'd still go free. Simple evidence, however, sad. Shout out, Lauren, keep doing you. Okay, this is sounding very Slender Man-y. Man, we might have to do some true crime live streams. Damn. Samantha says, oh, I don't care that she's the breadwinner. I care about what happened. Like, there's some tea there. Oh, yeah, I wasn't referring to just you, but I was referring to, like, the comments in general. You know what I mean? Like, there is no positive intent, but a lot of it is the way he handled it. Like, the whole, like, why not? What do you mean you can't pay our bills? You know what I mean? But think about it. This is always what I ask with the gender swap tests, is if it doesn't pass the gender swap test, is it really appropriate behavior, period? So, like, if a man were to tell his wife, I can't pay the bills this month, and she goes, why not? Can't you just work overtime or something? Isn't that kind of just as cringy? Isn't that just as gross? And yet, that's the reaction that we're saying would be normal if a man couldn't pay the bills. Because a man should pay the bills, because if he doesn't, he hates you. But again, a lot of you guys are saying, like, it's a harmless little prank. It ain't that deep. And I agree. I'm not fully hating on it, but I'm being a little bit of a hater. It's mostly just a prank to me. Way better pranks, you know? It's not that I think that they're deliberately trying to cause harm and start class warfare, but it's just not that good. SVR says +1 for a true crime live stream. I do have some body cam for some other stuff, though, actually. I will say. Okay. I think that covers everything for the mortgage trend right now. So, for anybody keeping up with timestamps and stuff, I'm going to put this here so we know that we're moving on to another topic. Okay. We've got a little bit of time today. We've still got some time. I think I'm only going to stream till 1 today because I have some videos I want to edit down. But how many of you guys saw my reaction to the lady who got pissed when a girl proposed? I don't like necessarily watching my own videos on here, but I'll show it to you guys just so that you can get... Oop. Just so you guys can know what I'm talking about. Oh, I still have my Instacam on. There we go. Oh, thank you for another dono. Separate cases, separate murderers. Both times they got caught, but both times the murderers were young women who thought they'd get away with it. I feel like most murderers probably think they'll get away with it. Probably most, honestly. Like, but I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, we might have to check that out. Okay. So this was a video that I recently covered by a creator. We'll watch this real quick.
Oh.
every single time in my life that I've ever seen a woman seethe with rage that a woman proposed to a man, she is 100% of the time never in a happy, fulfilled relationship. And she's far from alone. The comment section is full of women hating on this woman for daring to get engaged in a non-traditional way. This is gonna be me next week. Wish me luck. That's actually crazy. I hope you get help. So ladies, let me make sure I'm getting this straight. When a woman follows the patriarchal archetype of waiting for a man to propose, something that used to be basically a transaction of selling you to him, that's the right way. But when a woman carves out a new path for herself and deviates from that norm, creating a new structure of autonomy for herself, that's when she's desperate. Here, ladies, let me make you real mad. 8 years ago, when me and my now husband sat down to have a serious conversation with my now stepson about how we were probably going to get married, my now stepson asked me if he could be involved. And what he wanted to do was kind of a joint proposal where I got down on one knee and he pulled out the ring and asked, "Daddy, will you marry Miss Lauren?" He said yes, and did he later eventually cross-propose to me? Yes, but oh no, I proposed first. So call me desperate, call me a pick-me, call me pathetic. You can also call me happily married for about a decade and not aging like shelved milk by being such a bitter Betty. So I saw that video. It definitely annoyed me, as I'm sure you can tell. I was like, dude, I just get so annoyed whenever people like get that furious about other women proposing. And so like every once in a while when a creator really annoys me, I kind of keep an eye on their content, almost like the way you can't look away from a train wreck, you know? You just get like addicted to pissing yourself off, I guess. And the rest of her content, first of all, I guess her whole shtick is like, let me just take you to her page, okay? So this is who we're going to be talking about today. Her name is Anna Christina. She's got a pretty big following of like 703,000 followers, pretty big. She offers coaching and a podcast, right? And she calls herself the creator of the Black Cat Theory. Now, let me tell you what I've learned about this woman. So basically, her coaching involves the Black Cat Theory, which, you guessed it, is a really cute name that she gave to just being a crusty cunt, to be completely honest with you. Her advice is terrible. And I've taken to like day 3 now of commenting on her videos with partner reveal, because these videos all seem to be this like ironclad advice for how to really get men, and this is how to really treat men, but in none of these videos am I seeing a ring. In none of these videos am I seeing a man, and none of these videos am I hearing her talk about her fulfilling relationship that she has with a man, you know? And so, because I already know that I hate a lot of her takes, I just want you guys to join me in this so we can truly analyze like how much worse it gets. Not only are you a failure of a woman for getting engaged to a man in a non-traditional way, but these are the other ways that you could be a failure as a woman. Okay, let's watch. Oh wait, sorry. That's the one. Didn't mean to hit repeat on that one. Okay, let's try this again.
You have to lie to men. You have to lie about your past. You've never been cheated on. You've never been abused. You've never been a target or victim. You've never been lied to. You've never been taken advantage of. You've never been any sort of victim with any man out there, okay? Instead of giving all of your vulnerabilities away to him on a silver tray, keep it shut, keep it to yourself. In fact, talk about all the great things your ex-partners have done for you. Talk about how your ex-husband would buy you that car, buy you the flowers, treat you like the queen that you are. Men in front of you, you're subconsciously conditioning him that your standards and expectations are up here. Now all of a sudden the man in front of you wants to compete with men that were previously in your life and hope to one up them, to treat you even better, to impress you even more, to buy you even a bigger bouquet of flowers or bigger, nicer car. Because if you don't lie to men and if you reveal your vulnerability, it not only makes you look like a fool but also will attract predators, and most importantly, the man in front of you has no one to compete with. The man.
You hear that, ladies? You have to lie to men in order to protect yourselves from them. They make you do it to them. You get the idea of this video, and this is not the first time that I have heard this type of like sprinkle dating advice where women are basically saying, you know, don't ever tell guys that you were treated badly in relationships. You have to tell them that, like, you know, all of your exes always paid for all of the dates and they paid for all of the bills and they are convinced that this is going to work. But here's where she's falling hella short, screwing over her entire audience, and why she herself does not have a boyfriend or a husband paying for her lifestyle, paying for everything, and taking care of her in the way that she swears up and down that men definitely will do if you do these simple things, is because that's not necessarily what happens when you tell a guy, oh my God, my last boyfriend used to do all of this for me, and oh my God, my ex-boyfriend was so good at this, this, and this. They're not thinking, oh man, what can I do to get on his level? They're thinking, then what did you do to fuck this up? Right? If these guys were so good to you and none of them ever did anything bad to you because you're not a victim, how did you ruin that for yourself? Right? Isn't that what you would be thinking? Like, because me personally, as a woman, I've had guys try and do that, like, negging thing where they try to get me to compete with, like, some illusion of another woman or some woman with their past. Like, I've had guys hit me with the, like, oh my God, yeah, like, my last girlfriend used to do this for me. And you know what? It just pissed me off. And I would just be like, then go back to her. Why would I entertain that? I've got to imagine guys probably feel the same. Dude, if you hit me with the, like, oh, my ex-girlfriend was so much better at this, this, and this, then go win her back, bitch. What are you doing with me? I'm not interested. What do you mean you had this dream girl and now you're, what, I'm second fiddle? Like, nah, I'm a just head out. You know what I mean? But, like, she really thinks this works. Submarine says, ask Jack how much he knew about me before he proposed. I've always been honest with him. 26 years this Thursday. Well, if you've always been honest with him, I don't know if I want to ask him. I'm going to be here all day. He's going to recount your entire history. All right, oh my God, barbecue for the win. Thank you for your 20 sec. I'm out. Like the stream, please. Algorithm, do your thing. Yes, it's right there. Tell YouTube that this is yo thing. All right. Yeah, let's read some of these comments. There's my daily partner reveal. For some reason, she's not responding. I agree because they use that against you. This is incredibly true. My guy friend said, men know when they can play a woman. You're 100% right. They also lose respect when you're the victim. This is facts. My mother always said this to me. She always had black cat energy. It's also like, here's the other issue with how this doesn't really work for anything more than like a fling. I think the women are saying that it works because they've gotten it to temporarily work. But what happens when you're dating a guy like long term and you told him all this stuff like, yeah, my ex paid the mortgage, or like, yeah, my ex used to pay for all these dates, and then like he finds out that you're lying one way or another? What happens when he catches you lying? What then? Is he supposed to just keep dating you because you have the amazing black cat energy and that's just what liars do? Like, it was just a silly, cute little lie, so it's fine. Like, I'm pretty sure you would tell your fellow woman that if you catch a man in a lie, you should break up with him. But he should just keep dealing with it because you had to lie to protect yourself. Like, black cat energy is a thing. When I think of black cat energy, I think of that girl who's like playfully mean, but in a cute way. Like the girl that you work with, that you have a crush on, who when you show up for your shift, she's like, hey bitch. And it's like kind of mean, but you know she likes you. Like, to me, that's black cat energy. Or like being like, I don't want to go out, I just want to stay inside and read a book, is like, can be kind of read as like black cat energy. But like, being a liar is not black cat energy. Like, that's like a guy being like, oh dude, no, I'm not a cheater, I just have golden retriever energy as far as needing to breed with every other dog. That's what I mean when I say I have golden retriever energy. It means I just have to hump everything. Like, that's just my energy. Like, I'm not a cheater though. Like, that's kind of what it reads to me. So our first piece of advice is you have to lie to men.
This is what happens when you go...
Man, she's so quiet. Hold on. Next, we have 2 things men realize during no contact. Because she apparently knows so much about men, even though she does not at all have one.
This is what happens when you go no contact with your man. I'm talking radio silence. You haven't heard from him in weeks.
So already, this is starting off weird. And this is where you kind of get a little insight into the world of how easy it is to craft a narrative one way or another. We get, this is what happens when you go no contact with your man. That's how it starts, right? That's how she began the video.
This is what happens when you go no contact with your man.
Okay.
I'm talking radio silence.
Okay. She's implying this is what happens when you decide that you are going to be the one who completely cuts off contact. But then in the very third sentence,
you haven't heard from him in weeks.
Right. Because you have chosen to go no contact. We talk a lot about on this channel about how sometimes a woman will break up with a man, but it's not a real breakup. It's a test to see if he'll chase her. And this is what a lot of women do with the silent treatment and going no contact, is it's really a test to see, will you fight for her? And even though it's her idea to abruptly start ghosting you, it's going to be your fault if you let her ghost you, I guess.
You might have even blocked him, but you can't help think, does this man miss me?
So you're saying you blocked this man, and then you're going, why has it been weeks since I've heard from him? And you're giving women dating advice for a fee. You want people to hire you. Okay.
Does he think of me? What's going on? What is he feeling? I wish I knew. Aren't you glad that I'm here?
Yeah, 'cause you, a complete stranger who doesn't know my business and is clearly ready to enable my unhinged behavior, is gonna know exactly what's going on in a strange man's head. Go on and tell me. Women will really pay so much money to let other women give them delusion. They really will. They're like, don't let men play you. Let me play you.
Because I'm going to tell you the exact 2 things that are going to happen. 2 things and 2 things only. I'm working with hundreds of women in my coaching, and this is the exact same thing I always tell them as well, and I cannot believe I'm revealing my secrets to you literally for free.
She's so kind. She's a martyr. She is sacrificing her own genius for us. I can't believe she's doing this for us. Yeah, I know it is really quiet, but like, I have it maxed out, you guys. She just, I don't know, decided to record super quiet.
But here we go. Option number 1. You have no contact, radio silence, nada, zero. And this man all of a sudden is realizing, you know what, she was nice, I was on a date with her, maybe I was even in a relationship with her, maybe it was a situationship, whatever it was, we had something going on. But also, I don't actually miss her that much. Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, there was some level of attraction, some infatuation.
I love that she's like, again, that's what I mean by like, girls will pay other girls to feed them delusion. She's like, girl, after you blocked your man and completely cut him off, and we're gonna together blame him for that, let me promise you, I know exactly what he's thinking. He cannot stop thinking about how nice and beautiful you are.
Some desire and superficial and physical attraction, but it's not that deep. It's some level of desire and some level of attraction, but it's not important enough for me to reach out again and reignite the spark.
That's what it must be. It's not enough for him to reignite the spark. It's not that he's literally fucking blocked, and if he continues to message her, it will be considered harassment. It has nothing to do with that. Your aura is just too much for him.
I'd rather lean back, keep an eye for other options, let the communication and connection fade out by itself by simply not reaching out again. And this is where men go crickets, and all of a sudden they disappear and you don't hear from them anymore. That's it. That's option one. That's when they're just not that interested and they feel, okay, I'm going to look for somebody else. Option number two, and you need to remember men are a little bit slower. They need to take a little bit more time. Okay, this doesn't happen instantly. This can happen after a few weeks or a few days, no contact. This is when they realize, man, I miss that woman. What we had was incredible, and only the no contact, the radio silence, makes me realize that I truly miss that person in my life. And
this is such another crazy delusion that women love to feed each other, is there is this constant narrative in the woman verse that, like, if you ever go through a breakup, it is not your fault. 10 times out of 10, that man misses you and wants you back, but you just can't let it happen. You know what I mean? Like, that, it is such a common narrative.
She added a lot of value. She made me happy. Our connection is amazing. And sometimes then they're too insecure and they're scared of rejection, so they sometimes don't even reach out again. But between you and me, they're lost because you want a man that is confident enough to fight for you anyway.
What did I just say? What did I just say? If a woman goes through a breakup, it is never her fault. Even if she is literally the one who blocks him and ghosts him, the reality is he's just too afraid to fight for you and create an alt account or get a whole new phone number just to message you on. It's his fault. You deserve better, honey. Did she realize that when women push us away, it actually makes us less interested in them? All I can say is partner reveal. Like, this is where I'm like, if this works so well, you should have like 10 boyfriends by now, because you are so off-putting.
Moving on. However, sometimes they do feel like they want to reach out, and this is where the ball is in your court and you don't immediately take them back.
This is oh my god, the advice just gets worse and worse. So if you block them and they do what a man is supposed to do, and they create an entire alt account, or they go out and they get an entirely new phone number to continue to harass you off of and fight for you, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna still play hard to get. You're gonna still not make it easy and continue to ignore him. That's what's gonna work. This lady is crazy if she thinks that this is how women are, like, sealing the deal with guys. Punslinger, I might have. I am so sorry.
Let them wait. Let them sit there. Let them guess what your next move is, and not being able to predict whatever you're gonna do.
Lady, it's already been weeks of radio silence. This is like telling a kid, like, go to timeout and think about what you did. Do you really think that they're thinking about what they did? Or do you think that they're planning whatever fun thing they want to do when they get out of there? Or do you think they're planning on how to get the sibling back who told on them? Like, when a kid is in timeout, they're doing pretty much fuck all but thinking about the thing they did wrong. Okay, when you ghost a guy, he's not just sitting around with his thumb up his ass dreaming of ways to potentially get you back. Okay? I don't know if it works for women, but men don't block women. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get blocked by a dude, you know you fucked up, first of all. But second of all, if it's been weeks of ghosting, how much more do you think brother really has to mull over here?
And that is how you stay the black cat.
She thinks by making this, like, sassy little face that it just, like, sells it all. Don't choose someone who didn't choose you until they lost you. Don't let them come back. Yeah, okay, I mean, I guess that's the kind of fair advice, I guess, but then why are we even playing these fight for me games to begin with? Sometimes they come back just to see if they have power over you, not because they really want you. So this just seems like an echo chamber for women to convince each other that men have no positive intentions ever at any point in time. All men just hate you, and the only reason they pursue you is to hate you, and if they don't pursue you, it's because they hate you, but then if they pursue you back, it's because they hate you. So how to get a man is to not, because men hate you, basically. Let's do one more.
This is how you're going to become the black cat. Have men bend over backwards for you. Let them eat out of the palm of your hand.
Every single time I hear a video from a woman who is like, this is how to make men go crazy over you. This is how you're going to get men eating out of the palm of your own hand. I just know she is about to say the most toxic, deranged, like a man would get canceled immediately ass bullshit. Like, I already know it is going to be a toxic hellscape.
Be the main character of the story and make heads turn wherever you go.
So, advice number 1, develop main character syndrome. Great. Literally be the screaming banshee at the airport lobby that you've always dreamt of being, ladies.
Number 1, and this is the most important part. This is where you lay the foundation, all right? Lean in, listen to me. You have to be inconvenient. You have to be bitchy. You have to have standards and certain expectations.
Yeah, guys, that's what does it for you, is when a woman is just extremely flaky on you and rude and off-putting and snaps at you and continuously keeps holding you to higher and higher standards and reminding you that what you're doing isn't good enough. Just makes you want to stand 10 toes down and get down on one knee, huh? Is that right, guys? Is that accurate?
So the higher the expectations and the more unrealistic, the better. Example, let's say you've been seeing each other for a little while and you know there's connection building and he's calling you and he wants to take you out for a coffee date. Be smart, play dumb, and simply tell him, oh, I thought we were going on a date. He's gonna be like, well, yeah, I want to take you out for a coffee. That's when you become inconvenient. Oh, I don't go for coffee dates. By his reaction, you're gonna know if this is a weak, feminine, insecure man.
This is another little tactic that they love to use. A man asking a woman out on a coffee date. Literally nothing wrong with this. I am so sick of this narrative that a coffee date is like lazy or something. Here's the deal. Women agree that it is perfectly appropriate to go on multiple dates a week even. Women all agree you're allowed to just date however many people you want until you settle down with someone, right? That's how all the women are doing it. Now, if that's true, it should be true that men should be able to get to go on as many dates as they want to in order for them to properly practice their discernment and filter through what's actually best for them. That should also be adequate. The problem is that who's expected to pay for the dates? Obviously the men. Therefore, the process of vetting who is going to be the best women for them is more expensive for men. However, you can keep that process good and healthy for you as a man without breaking the bank by introducing the coffee date. The coffee date is perfect for both parties. One, it's fairly inexpensive, but two, a coffee situation is very non-committal, meaning if at any point during the date one or both of you becomes uncomfortable and wants to leave, you can easily do so without having to awkwardly stay and wait for the check and figure out what's going on. That's going to benefit both parties. Additionally, if a woman is not having a big, expensive, luxurious date paid for her, there's also less pressure on her for like, oh, you have to now put out or anything like that. Not that a woman should be feeling that kind of pressure no matter how lavish the date is, but I am just saying that it would help in that case. Let me read this super chat. I missed a few, but like I said, I'm trying to stay more on task, okay? He Needs Some Milk says, I get why she has volume so low. It's not tech incompetence, because she's giving away valuable advice for free and can't let others hear. That's what it is. This is big money concepts here. But this is another tactic that these women use, is when they try these moves of, oh, I don't do coffee dates. You know, same with the woman who's like, you can't take me to Subway for a date. You can't take me to Cheesecake Factory for a date. When the women try this tactic of like playing inconvenient and it doesn't work out for them, she goes, I don't do coffee dates. And he goes, okay, nice talking to you. I'm going to go meet someone else now. Then they get to use the security blanket of, well, he was just a weak, insecure little bitch baby. That's the only reason it didn't work out. It's not because he was turned off by the fact that I'm so high maintenance and annoying that I can't do simple, fun things. It's because he's a weak, insecure little bitch baby. Like, they have thought of so many fallback emotional comfort excuses for every rejection that when guys say they can't win, women have built the system to ensure that you cannot. A man does not simply reject a woman without being the scum of the earth. I love Nova Scotian Nurse says, or Nova Scotian Norse, sorry, big difference. Though I'm sure there are plenty of Norse nurses, says, bitch baby, yep. Saved myself a massive headache? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, simps will always exist. So I'm sure you can find someone desperate enough to deal with your incessantly obnoxious and crusty behavior. But as far as, like, good advice to women, like, the only solid advice you're giving these women is the emotional cushion that they can use to prevent taking accountability. That's what the women are really paying for, because none of this advice is actually helping secure them any sort of man. The women paying for these courses, they're not getting men, okay? They're just not. They're paying for the validation, and they're paying for the tools to use for words that they can put in place of what actually happened. They got rejected, that they were being obnoxious. They're paying for tools. Kind of like the Other Woman Network, where women can pay for coaches to validate their affairs, you know? Normal women don't need to pay for this stuff. Women who will pay for anything to keep them from taking accountability, that's who's paying for these courses or whatever.
That wants to compete with you on a spot on the pedestal, or if he can let you stay there and let you shine. Because option number one, he's going to be okay with you being inconvenient because he's trying to date you.
If a man's not okay with you deliberately going out of your way to be standoffish just to test the boundaries of how far you can push him, then he doesn't really want to date you. He hates you.
You are the queen, you are the prize, you are the woman on the pedestal.
This is so embarrassing that women are paying other women to tell them this shit. This is literally OnlyFans for women. Like, the same way that men get addicted to paying cam models to, like, say sexy things to them while being naked, women are paying out the ass to get women with filler and Botox. Like they are paying for these women's filler and Botox just to tell them, you're the queen, you're the prize, he dropped the ball with you, he really failed. The only reason you're still single is because you are too much of a catch. They're scared of you. Like, these women are paying out the ass to get their egos stroked by random broads on TikTok. Damn. Red pill for women? Absolutely. I'm gonna start calling this shit the pink pill, the sprinkle pill, dog. This is honestly, it's just as bad as red pill. She is the Myron Gaines for women, dude. Like, this is fresh and fit, but make it pink, dude.
So if he then feels that you declining a coffee date is too inconvenient, too hard for him to handle, there's your answer. Not the right man for you anyway. You cut your losses early. A true masculine man will not ever look at you as inconvenient. He will say, oh, no worries, I'm sorry about that. Which restaurant would you like to be taken to?
A strong masculine man would never, ever, ever let you do anything that you don't want to do. He will tolerate all of the disrespect. A strong masculine man lets you use him as an emotional punching bag. Just lets you test every single boundary that he has without complaint. A true manly alpha giga chad will let you full on run up and kick him directly in the balls if you want to, because that's what a real man does. And if he doesn't let you absolutely decimate his family jewels just for funsies, you guessed it, he hates you. And he hates all women, in fact.
Or let's say, using the example of the law of assumption, it's Friday evening, you know you're gonna go for a date night, but you also know your man hasn't really made any plans yet. He's just telling you to come over to his place, ... Instead of complaining about it, instead of being angry about it, be all dressed up, put on your makeup, put on your perfume, wear the most beautiful clothes, wear high heels, sit in the Uber on the way to his place, and send him a message or call him and tell him, I am so excited for this beautiful restaurant you're going to take me. I'm so appreciative of this because we haven't done this in a while.
This is such crazy bad advice, dude. This is terrible advice. And from a woman's perspective, because here's the deal. She is telling these women that if a man has kind of a non-committal plans or like nothing fancy, he's just like, yeah, just come over to my place after work, or like come over when you're done doing whatever you're doing. Something that is fairly normal, I would say. Like, if you guys just started talking and you don't really know him like that, then yeah, it's very cringy to offer Netflix and chill as a first date solution. But if you guys are talking and he's like, yeah, if you want to come over, that's also not a direct attack on your femininity. It doesn't mean he hates you, and it doesn't mean that you have to do a big dramatic show to test him or put him in a really awkward position, right? So that's exactly what she's telling women to do, though, is she's like, oh yeah, you dress up to the nines. You know that thing that we tell you that only men tell you to do, which is spending all this money on makeup and jewelry and getting your hair done and fancy dresses? You know how we say that men are the reason you have to spend that money? Well, he didn't ask you to, but do it anyway. Me, as the woman that you're already paying exorbitant amount of money, is telling you spend more money dolling yourself up when he doesn't need you to be whatsoever, and then just kind of casually soft launch your demands of being taken out to a fancy restaurant instead of asking nicely and giving him enough preparation like a reasonable grown adult with a fully formed frontal cortex. No, just roll up on him. No. Here's why this is bad advice. And it's not just because a guy might be turned off by this. Not just because he can't afford it and he's a weak little bitch baby, but because a man wants to have proper notice of things. A man does not necessarily like being demanded to do things or being hit with self-entitled expectations. What's the quote? expectations without communication is the death of a relationship. That's the number one reason it's a bad idea, okay? Vienna, have you watched the documentary Red Pill? Produced by feminists to expose MRA, she completely changed her worldview after investigating. I hate that grifters have ruined the term. I don't know if I have seen it. I don't know what it's on. I feel like I would probably like to watch it. I'm sure she brings up a lot of good points, finding out like the issues men really do have, but I'm never gonna take on the term red pill. You're never gonna convince me like, but it doesn't mean what it was supposed to mean or whatever. Like, I'm just not a pill person. I'm just not gonna follow any one type of ideology, especially one that unfortunately has been co-opted by so many shit stains. Like, same thing with feminism. Like, feminism has so many legitimate foundations, but again, got co-opted by shit stains, and now it's a very awkward, turbulent wasteland. Anyway, the second reason that you should not, in fact, doll yourself up to the absolute nines and then demand an extravagant restaurant date from your unsuspecting boyfriend is because when you don't get the lavish restaurant date for one reason or another, maybe he doesn't actually have the funds for it, God forbid. Maybe he's just not ready for it. Maybe there's some emergency going on at his apartment that he cannot leave. When you don't get what you want because you failed to properly plan for it, you're going to be so pissed, seething, falling down the wall, snot bubble in your nose, sobbing because you done went and shaved your legs and got the fake eyelashes and did all this stuff just to be disappointed. Why would you set yourself up for failure like that? How is the best advice that we have for women basically dress for the job you want? No, you're getting women to pay you to set themselves up for disappointment. That's crazy.
I'm so grateful for you taking the time booking this beautiful restaurant for him. You know damn well that he didn't book anything, but you're not losing your cool, you're not losing your spot on the pedestal, you remain the prize, and you walking into his house looking like the prize, also after you made that law of assumption phone call, he's going to feel like an idiot.
Is he though? No, I can promise you 9 times out of 10, it is not going to be the man feeling like the idiot. He might feel like an idiot for a minute as he slowly gaslights himself into thinking, wait, did I make reservations? And then completely forget about it. But then once he realizes, I did not make any reservations, this woman is literally just showing up dressed to the nines and making up her own schizophrenic plans inside of her head. I think only one of these people is going to be embarrassed by that situation, quite frankly. Also, I'm sorry for all of the cheers that I'm missing. I tried to give a forewarning at the beginning of the stream that I'm trying to stay on track, so I might not read as many cheers, and that the best way for me to read your chat is super chat. But if you came in late, I'm so sorry if you missed my warning there.
He's not going to feel man enough for you. Now he's going to compete with his own ego to prove to you that he is worthy of being by your side, that he...
This is so crazy to me too, because the type of man that she's describing, the type of man who, when feeling a little bit bullied by a woman, immediately apologizes and submits, the type of man who, when put on the spot and pressured into a situation, immediately buckles and falls into his own egos, that's the exact type of man that they would say is experiencing toxic masculinity. That's the exact type of man that they would say is actually not an alpha, but is in fact a beta. This is like the reason that none of you guys have men. The reason that none of y'all are having any success with men is because your dream man that you're pursuing doesn't exist. Because you want a man who gives off alpha energy, but at the end of the day is your beta simp. But you're not going to have both. You're not going to have a man who has that alpha energy and also has no boundaries for himself. You're not going to have a man who's able to provide, but also lets people treat him any sort of which way. Like, you're not gonna get both. Yes, exactly, Flamethrower. You can't have an alpha and a beta. Alphas stand up for themselves. Yes.
He's all of a sudden going to dress up and takes you out to the beautiful 5-star restaurant as you deserve. Again, if he doesn't, that's your answer.
How does she know these women deserve it? This is another problem that I have with these dating coaches who, you know, she mentioned that she has these hundreds of clients and she tells them all the same thing, which is, you deserve it, you're the prize, you're the queen, you belong on the pedestal, da 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 da. So let me get this straight. If every single woman has this inherent worth that makes her the prize, her the queen, her worth everything and above every single other thing on the pedestal, what makes her inherent worth worthier than the next woman's inherent worth? Why is he choosing you instead of another woman? What makes you more valuable if every single client that you have ever hired has the same exact inherent net worth? What makes you special? How do you know that the women who are paying you deserve any of this shit? How do you know they're not terrible, horrible, narcissistic, manipulative criminals? How do you know that?
You want to become the black cat and stay the black cat? Remember step number 1, become inconvenient. Be bitchy. Be annoying. Be complicated and unpredictable. And let them figure you out. You have all the power. They want to date you. They want to see you. They want to be with you. They want to keep you happy in their relationship. It's their job. So let them work for it, right? Follow and comment for a part 2, and I'll give you a step-by-step list on how to become and stay in your black hat energy.
In your black hat energy. That's a hilarious typo because she is giving very black hat energy. Inconvenient, annoying, not committed to being one way or the other. I'm not much of a witchcraft type flamethrower. I'm not. Yeah, it's just fascinating to me that she can so confidently and with these eyes tell women, like, this is how you go about your life and get it. And what is it? What does it even mean when all you are is a black cat, but you don't even like have men? All you're doing is scaring people away. These are weird. I'm a black cat to a man I don't love. 245 likes. Okay, sounds like this is really working out for you, ladies. But he loves you, right? Yeah. That's great. It's better this way. Trust me, girl. No wonder they have to pay for the cope. No wonder they have to create these like weird echo chamber communities where they convince each other that it's normal to be married to someone you don't love. And that it's not only normal to be married to someone, consistently surrendering your coochie to a person you don't even love, but that it's better that way. Is black cat energy just another term for femcel? Is that what this is? Is that just another word for women who thought their lives would be better if they married for money, but now they're just bitter about it and they're trying to like disguise their deeply held resentment for like a quirky character energy that they have? True love is a fantasy. You are in the best possible situation. Ladies, oh my God. This isn't talked about enough. You're lucky. Same. Same, ha ha ha. I hope to God this isn't any of your guys' wives in these comments. Me too. Oh my God. Teach us, Queen President. Love comes after marriage and kids, sweetie. Love is for your children. Mama Sprinkle explained it to us. These women are so fucking down bad. This is crazy. Are you getting money at least? She never even said if she's getting money. So all these women, all they know is that she is with a man that she doesn't love, but at least he loves her. And now they're all like spanking each other off. Like, this is what's best for us. This is what's best for us. I swear this is the best case scenario. Like, this is so embarrassing. Oh my God. You know what? We gotta just let them do this. I hate to say it, but like, men, you know your worth. As I generally say when reacting to these things, like, we can't save these hoes. Only God can save these hoes. And the best thing that we can do is learn from these situations. Glean as much insight as we possibly can. So look, she's gonna keep her business, because for as long as there is a chronically single black cat girl who just can't understand why she's still single, there will be a gaslight gatekeep girl boss on TikTok ready to take her money in exchange for telling her none of this is your fault, sweetie. It's the men who are the problem. They're always going to have their business, and that's fine. If women would rather put their money into buying pure cope and delusion than paying their half of the bills so that they can continue to just blame all of their life's problems on men, so be it. You, the men of the audience, know what to look for now. You know that when a girl says something like, I just have black cat energy, that's a red flag now. That's not something to find cute or endearing. That's not one of those, like, I'm just a little mean to be quirky type things anymore. This is like, this woman potentially invests hundreds of dollars into learning the worst versions of manipulation and degeneracy available online to women. Okay? Now we know. Like, men, if you invite a woman to a coffee date and she makes anywhere near the remotest, slightest big deal about it, that's your sign. No need to be upset. Just say, thank you, Jesus, for presenting me this very clear ticket out before I invested anything further. You just say thank you to the universe and you keep going on, because you're gonna freak out over a coffee date, dude. Hell no. I know I don't usually eat on camera, but I've been addicted to peppermint bark. This is specifically, and I hate to be bougie, but specifically the Gardelli peppermint bark. It's so soft. I think I've eaten like 40 pieces of peppermint bark in the last 2 days. I'm gonna overdose. I'm gonna overdose on peppermint bark. I have a problem, y'all. I'm so addicted. You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, John. John says, I have a black cat and she is the sweetest kitty I've ever owned. This is slandering the good reputation of black cats everywhere. You know what? On that note, to tie us up for the day, I'm gonna bring some black cat tags. Let me come right back. I'm gonna go get our black cat. Oh, she's hating this. Here's our black cat, Cora. Come here, baby. We're just talking about how perfect black cats are. And so we just needed you to come prove the point. Yeah, Cora is our precious baby. She is 13 years old. And she is also running away from Miles. I heard there was attention being given out. No, Miles left behind. Miles, it would be okay if you couldn't pay the mortgage. I should make a video like that, like dog POV, telling my dog I can't pay the mortgage. Miles, you're such a good baby. Eats hand. Peppermint bark's pretty good, huh? You wanna come back up here? We love our Miles, guys. He is the baby. Show Cat's eyes. I'm sorry, she ran away before I could. She has really pretty eyes, too. I posted my black cat the other day. I must go in and like that picture. Damn, what the fuck, Brittany? The bots are getting creative. Anyway, wow, didn't know you had a house horse. Straight from Mackinac Island is where Miles came from. Honestly, I bet if I did make Instagram pages for the pets, they could possibly help pay our mortgage by this point. Oh, man. That's about all I have for you today. Trust me, there's still so much more I want to cover, but for those of you who are new and didn't hear my Christmas tradition lore, every year I write and illustrate an entire comic book for my family. So I'm going to be really busy this week working on that. So I have a lot of that to do. I also am in the middle of editing down, a new YouTube video that I just recorded having to do with, of all things, Elf on the Shelf controversies and dramas. We got Elf on the Shelf, family court, and co-parenting issues, as it turned out. So, just got a few crazy stories that I thought would be funny to record as a YouTube video, and I'll have that out for you guys in just a little bit. When I do finish the comic, I probably will post it online. I might have to just go through and make sure I edit out any, details that might give away my youngest's name. My oldest, he's 16 and he's already been on the stream. He comes in here all the time. I was half expecting to see him during his lunch hour because he'll occasionally pop into the chat there. But yeah, my oldest, he is 100% okay with us showing his face, showing his name, so he's old enough. My youngest, though, I don't post nothing with her, God, I want to find another time to stream this week because, like I said, I have so much stuff I still want to show you guys and talk about, but Christmas has to come first. So I'm going to work on that, do all that, but keep an eye out. I'm still going to have a bunch of videos out for you guys throughout the week. I'm still going to have my editor chop up my live streams, and then after the holidays, we're getting back after it. All right. Okay. Any last minute questions, concerns, or anything like that before we wrap up the stream for today? 16 is okay supervised, I suppose. Yeah, I definitely don't use him as the basis of my content. It's if he comes into the chat on his own, I'm not going to block him from the chat. And then there was one time that he came home early while I was streaming and popped in. Yes, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I want to know how much wood could Chuck Norris chuck if Chuck Norris was chucking wood. Oh yeah, Adam Lane Smith, I forgot about that. I think I don't know if his team reached out. I think someone else just reached out to me, but I don't remember. Man, I'm bad at my emails, apparently. How is the dad Christmas gifting thing going? So I had to end it this weekend. I let people know, like, this weekend I had to cut it off because I ran out of my personal budget. But we were able to buy for every single person that submitted, and including single moms. I know I made it a single dad thing, but I didn't want to be like exclusionary necessarily. So yeah, we bought for a ton of people. One of the single moms that we bought for is a single mom who had to have a quadruple amputation this year. All 4 limbs amputated. Literally buying those gifts was like the least I could do. I'm like, I don't even know how you live your life that way at that point. So yeah, we did a lot of help. Next year I'm going to start fundraising in November so that we can help more dads, make it a little bit more organized. When are we going to get Dadvocate matchmaking? I don't know, man. Join my Patreon and I'll try to we can turn that into the best we can get. I'm kidding. My Patreon is so small at this point. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I could at least help you filter through anyone you are thinking of talking about. That's like probably the closest I could get. Good Lord, what the hell happened? Wait, as far as what, Aaron? I think I missed something. Did she try to fist fight a wood chipper? Are we still on wood chips or woodchucks? Also, thank you, Simi, for the Christmas wishes. Anyway, I think that's about it. Miles is definitely cozy boy. All right. Okay. That's it for now. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the stream as we dissected this recent relationship trend and dissected some of the terrible dating coach advice that's out there. It has been a pleasure and so fun. I'm so sorry to Project Snail, who literally just got here, but feel free to rewind and enjoy the live stream in its entirety. I will see. Oh, Quad Mom, sepsis. That's what happened. Sepsis, terrible infection. Happened very quickly. Would not wish sepsis upon my worst enemy, quite frankly. But at least we got our kids some toys. Whew. If only we could get her some new limbs, though. Anyway, like I said, you guys have been the best. Don't forget to like the stream. Like it. Like it. Now you can leave. Okay, I'll